All stand, please. Please be seated.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Reid.
Your Honour, insofar as tender is concerned, my learned friend, excuse me, my learned friend and I have had a discussion. We're essentially in agreement. We don't anticipate there are likely to be many objections, if any, to the documents, and we will work on that basis. In terms of the what occurred during the opening, I've identified one document, and I'm not quite sure who the learned friend is with identifying his, but...
Right. As far as you're talking now about your opening?
Yes.
Yes, all right. Well, I'll ask Mr. Armstrong.
Yes, Your Honour. I was proceeding on the basis that the documents that I referred to in my opening were treated as tenders.
Yeah. Yes. And as to you, Mr. Reid?
Yes, I'm proceeding on the same basis, absence of objection, and the only area where we don't have any clarity, it's not that we don't have agreement, clarity is what the word promptly means in my learned friend's formulation, that there'll be a prompt objection.
Yes.
So that's the fluid bit to it all at the moment.
Yes, all right. Well, now, just before I turn to that, your reference to Mr. Marsden Smedley's report is still not a tender.
No, that's not a tender.
Thank you. Well, I don't know. I would suggest that that an objection promptly should be no longer than the session, but it might be considered that it ought to be shorter than that.
Yes, well, yeah. Thank you, Your Honour.
Mr. Armstrong?
We'd be content with that, Your Honour.
Yes, all right.
Perhaps in each side's interest, we could extend it to the end of the session or the following morning in case there's an issue.
Yeah, well, sorry, that's what I meant. I didn't mean during the session because that could include immediate objection as per normal. But no, I would have thought that the end of the session, if it's the third session, then the beginning of the next session is a better way to express it. Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm content with that and agree to it, Your Honour.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Your Honour. Thank you. The second reason that we advance for the plaintiff's pleading to have great difficulty is proof of the connection of the root to the stump in which the campfire was lit. Now, if Your Honour were to look, please, at document 101, photo 53, Your Honour will see immediately that there are what appears to be two stumps in that photograph. One with a cone 7 on it, and that I think we're all understanding to be the old stump where the campfire was lit, and another to its left as we look into the photograph, which is a burnt out toothpick, which is apparently the western or southwestern edge of a second stump. The second thing that Your Honour will see is that far from the line tracing the route being waving and turning as my friend opened this morning, it is a straight line of excavation. That is, as I understand, what the pink paint or dust is supposed, with a, say, a 45-degree angle turn away from the old stump. And no further excavation was undertaken by Mr. Walkley, Mr. Bones or Mr. Johnson. So there's immediately some difficulty in relation to that stump. While I'm at it, Your Honour, I tender all of these photographs together with their metadata.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's the position with the metadata? Is it imprinted onto each individual photograph? Is it part of the file that contains the photograph?
That's a very good question, Your Honour. In my brief, it's part of the file. It may be that the operator can, Ms. Law, can bring the metadata up. I'm not sure.
Mr. Temponi might be able to.
Mr. Temponi might be able to instruct you, Mr. Armstrong, as to where it's found and where it's
He
located.
could either whisper in my ear, Your Honour, or he might be able to approach Ms.
Well,
Law.
either way, I don't mind, just so we've got it on the record.
And if Your Honour wishes to put it on the record, perhaps Mr. Temponi could show and say what he's doing as he's doing it.
Yes. Thanks if you could do that, Mr. Temponi, once we've got one going. Oh, yeah. So it's part of each individual JPEG file, Mr. Temponi, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Yes, and that one, Your Honour, was taken on the 6th of January at 2:18 p.m.
Yep. Thank you.
Now,
Sorry, document. I think when you say tender, you also need to say document number.
Yes, I do, don't I? Document 101.
Yep, thank you. The whole of document 101, including the metadata on the JPEG files.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Colin Thomas attended the scene later in 2013 at the request of the defence to excavate around the area of the old stump. And his report in relation to that exercise is document 19, if that could be brought up, please.
Thank you. I'm assuming there's a commonality between this report and the subpoenaed material. No?
I can't answer that, Your Honour. I've not been part of the subpoenaed question.
But you haven't inspected the documents yet?
I haven't personally, no.
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 All right. Well, you're entitled to, obviously.
Yeah, indeed, yes. If that could be moved on to about the third page. Keep going down, please. So he says that he examined the scene and he took, he says, available burn indicators were inconsistent in assisting with any definitive fire extension from any singular point. And then he took some photographs that were taken, and then he says excavation of the soil and rocks around this route was conducted using a small garden trowel and a paintbrush. Soil and rocks were removed in a similar format to an archaeological dig, and there are photographs of that.
So just remind me of the date again.
Yes, if we go to the top, we'll get the date.
The date the excavation was
Yes,
done.
yes. It was 20th of August 13.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you. Yes. And he said that the entire stump was subsequently excavated. Its base was shown at medium and close range in some further photographs. And then during the entire excavation, only one root was broken. That's shown in 9 to 12. And then his conclusions were that his detailed examination of the subject stump revealed no evidence of fire extending from the stump itself via the root structure. And he says that the root, which was charred and shown at close range in photo 7, again revealed no evidence of charring extending away from the stump. This would suggest that charring visible occurred as a consequence of a fire, not the cause of this fire as detailed in the Tasmania Fire Service report. So when the ground was burnt on the 3rd, the charring visible to Mr. Walkley occurred rather than it having occurred by reason of exiting the stump. It was really an entry burn. The photographs which follow, Your Honour, we'll just scroll through if we could. There's a long range shot there which shows in the top right hand corner the old stump. Then if we keep going, range to the left, there's nothing in that photograph of relevance. 3 is effectively the same as 1. Keep going, please. Close-up view of the old stump, and you'll see to the left of the old stump that photograph that I took you to earlier from the 6th of January. That tooth of wood is no longer there, and the evidence will be that the second defendant actually smashed that out of the way. Then, if we continue, we'll see the commencement of the dig, and continue through these, please. Thank you. Just keep scrolling. And just stop there, or stay with this one, and you'll see there roots well exposed on the northern side of the stump. The side which was apparently the side at which Mr. Walkley had found the exposed root, but not the side that's pleaded in the statement of claim. Now, Your Honour, Mr. Jackson, an arborist, and we've referred to him in the written opening, his evidence appears at document 18, 382. Yes. Perhaps if we just go up to give context to paragraph 20 to the paragraph 19, he makes the conclusion that it's a silver peppermint with a root spread of 20 to 40 metres. And then he continues on. In addition, given the relatively open textured sandy clay loam of the subject site, I consider that the large woody sinker roots close to the base of the tree would have extended vertically unless impeded. Figure 5 shows the vertical extent of some of those. And he then says that it should be noted that the exposed roots are clearly emanating from more than a single source, i.e. the subject stump, with the roots highlighted in yellow in figure 5 definitely belonging to at least one other individual tree. I make this assertion due to the apparent orientation of these roots being almost perpendicular to the subject stump, with their point of origin, i.e. the exposed burnt ends at the soil surface, being physically separated from the subject stump.
Now, what material is the basis for the opinion? Is it photographs, an actual inspection? If so, what date?
No, it's photographs. He's looking at Colin Thomas, and
yes.
he's got the Colin Thomas photo at figure 5.
And he's basing his opinion on that.
Yes,
thank you. And that was August 2013.
Well, now I've unintentionally misled you. I've been sent an email to say that the dates of the Thomas excavation, there are 2 dates, and they are the 30th of March 14 and the 5th of April 14.
Sorry, the 30th
of March 14, 5th April 14.
And the 5th of April.
I think what occurred was that Thomas went there in August and had a look, and that's where that date comes from.
Right. Well, I see, just a sort of preliminary.
Yeah. I think that's probably right.
Yeah, okay, yes. Thank you.
Yes. So, he says that the point of origin being physically separated from the subject stump, In addition, the wide diameter of burnt root ends tapering to a narrower diameter as they enter the soil is a clear indication the roots were growing from a tree, or maybe more than one tree, located to the left east of the photograph. And of course that's where the trees are, that's the wooded area to the left of that photograph, the east of the photograph. And then he says, similarly, I consider that the sections of roots highlighted in blue in figure 5 may not be from the subject stump, simply due to their apparent distance from it. It appears that the highlighted sections of roots are more than 1 metre away from the subject stump. And if, as I have postulated above, the stump was a notional maximum of 1 metre in diameter, it follows that the root sections are probably from another tree. However, I am aware that without accurate comparative distance dimension markers in the photographs, this is no more than conjecture. And then he says, similarly, sorry, we need to go back up. Keep going. Thank you. Similarly, no more than conjecture. And then we have figure 5. And you can see figure 5, large woody sinker roots and fibrous lateral roots excavated from around the base and immediate vicinity of the subject stump. The red ring indicates roots definitely emanating from the subject stump. The blue rings indicate roots that may not be emanating from the subject stump, and the yellow rings indicate roots that were definitely not from the subject stump. So we suggest that all of that gives great difficulty to the plaintiff, given the extent of excavation that was done and the 45-degree angle, the existence of the two trees. Now, finally on this topic, Your Honour, is some evidence of another excavation done by Mr Gilmore and a Mr Crow. Document 15, please, Bates number 266. That's not... I'm sorry. Bates number 323. Thank you. 323 we need. Thank you. The authors of this report have detailed that they've done 2 phases of their examination which aren't presently relevant, and at 3:37, so the next or third phase of our examination was conducted in such a way to ensure we were viewing the same areas as the TFS investigators, or at least those sites shown in the photographs that were indicated and included in the material provided. We aligned ourselves with some landforms, etc., and the copies of those photographs are included. The use of remaining features proved very useful for orientation, particularly the trees and the backgrounds of the images and rocks and stumps in the foregrounds. Some tree death and bark, if we can go down please. Shedding had occurred, and there were a number of examples where it was apparent that the earth had been disturbed and some trees and stumps had been removed. Then the final part of our examination was to excavate the site containing the old stump, which the TFS opined as the source of ignition. By referencing the photographs taken by the TFS investigators and the police, we were confident that we were excavating the same site. The replication of photographs allowed us to assess the excavation work done by those who had inspected the site before us. We located and examined the area within and around the old stump referred to in the TFS report. Their investigation had discovered underground charcoal being between a grassy area and a stump. We excavated the same site and found that there were 2 stumps on the site, approximately 1 metre apart and not connected. Those are apparently the 2 to which I've referred. The tapering buttress shapes of the roots radiating away from these 2 stumps clearly showed some burning within the top of the stump, but not out along the roots. The crowns of the roots were not burnt where they joined the base of the stumps. The above ground portions of the stumps were almost completely consumed by fire.
So when was this excavation carried out?
This was carried out in November or December of 18. I'll get you the precise date, Your Honour.
No, that's fine.
Yep. Your Honour, the next obstacle which we point to is the opinion formed by TFS investigator Mr Bones on the 5th, on the Saturday. That's the day before the excavation, where they've reached a different conclusion. Now, Mr Bones attended the scene for the purpose of investigating the cause of the fire on Barrett's property at about 4:30 p.m. on the 5th, and he departed at about 8:30 p.m. Those times are important because of the police interview that you'll be hearing. He's reported as having formed the view that the fire started in an area to the south of the old log, or the big log, I think it is. It's better. We've got the old stump and the big log, two geographical markers. So Mr Bones is reported as having formed the view that the fire started in an area to the south of the big log, that is, between the septic and the big log. Now, that is found at document 52, page 82. It happens to be Bates numbered 82 as well. And there's a little bit of transcript to go through here of the interview. The police officer asked Ms Barrett, are you aware, now as you're aware, when we turned up today there were a number of other officers with us. Yes, some of those officers from the Tasmania Fire Service. And then at the bottom, now they provided me with some preliminary information in regards to, and Ms Barrett interrupts, you may find she has a habit of doing, the questioner continues. So they're basically saying they can confirm the scene of the fire started 20 metres east of the house. 20 metres east of the house, and then it went away in an easterly direction. So basically, I'll show you a picture that's probably going to be easier for you. Yeah, says Ms Barrett. And she's shown the picture. Can you identify where this picture is of? Yep, that's my septic. That's my big log. That's my big log, yeah. So in the forecourt of the photo, there's a log. Yep. And you're saying that that's the one you've described as the garden feature you'd sit on sometimes? Yep. And they were talking about rolling it down the hill. Now, Your Honour is being invited at the view to view the big log. The evidence indicates it's in the same place as it was at the time of the fire, and to view the septic line, which is in the same place as it was. So Your Honour is being invited to view this area as part of the view. And then there's another reference at page sorry,
Your Honour, just while my friend is looking for his note.
Yes, Mr.
Obviously, my friend is still in his opening, and I wouldn't ordinarily rise to say anything, but given the rule about tendering of documents, as Your Honour will have noted, this is a police officer putting a proposition to Ms Barrett. It's hearsay in terms of what the actual fire investigators' conclusions were. We understand Your Honour would receive it on that basis, but Your Honour will be hearing from Mr Bones in due course as to whether this is an
yes, of course, it couldn't be any more than that in this format. Thank you.
Let's say, Your Honour. It's pretty obvious. Now, at page 86, it said that photograph I've shown you that I printed out in black and white, I've actually got in colour on my phone. Oh, excellent. So I'll show you that. It'll make it a bit easier. And there's a zoom in, and there seems no doubt that that's the area. And then they've sent me this photograph saying that the origin or the beginning of the fire started in this area. So they're saying they can basically confirm that the fire started over the top of the pit, is what you've described to me, where these stumps are. The fire started there and then it headed down the driveway in an easterly direction away from your house. And Ms Barrett says, well, how in the hell did it catch on fire? And goes on to disavow that that area could possibly be involved. But this would indicate that that Mr. Bones, quite possibly, had told the police officer that his view was that the fire started in this area. And Mr. Bones will be questioned about that. Now, Your Honour, Mr. Bones, in his report, document 24 at page 17, it's Bates number 17 it'll be. Yes, Bates number 17, sorry. Yes, we scroll to the bottom of that page. He says there, initial examination of the scene highlighted two areas of interest where Tony Johnson...
The control fire's playing up, isn't it? Right.
No, Bates number 0017. That's it.
Yep. Highlighted two areas of interest, and Your Honour will find when you get this report that those two areas were the area between the septic and the big log that I've just been discussing, and the area around the old stump. Now, our proposition is that by the end of the day, on the 5th, there was in fact only one area of origin identified by Bones, and it was that between the septic and the big log. Mr. Gilmore, in document 15, Bates number 266, has some photographs, has used the police photographs of that area. And I just bring those to you. It's his view that that is a potential area of origin. I bring those photographs, that one and the next one, to Your Honour's attention. Or not the next one, maybe it's the one before.
Did you say 256 or 266?
I said 266.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's been brought up. That's right.
Yes, 26. There is only one photo.
Mm-hmm.
266. So that's the area we're inviting you on to look at tomorrow. The final reason that we advance why the plaintiff has difficulty with its theory, or its circumstantial case, is that there's no expert opinion as to how the root said to be the heat source caused combustion at the pleaded point of origin. And I've already pointed to the pleading. Mr. Walkley, document 49, page 6, is relevant to this. He refers to those photographs that we're looking at, and as to the conclusions as to the cause of the fire, perhaps the bit I'm looking for is in there. If we can scroll down to that, please. Yes. Walkley formed the opinion the force of bushfire was caused by smouldering roots from tree stump, but doesn't give any opinion as to how it got from the root to the point of origin. And even if the point of origin is not to the south-southeast, gives no opinion as to how it got from the charcoal that he found into any combustible material. Mr. Bones, document 24, page, I think I'm on page 47. Yes. Just scroll down a bit to make sure I'm 47. Thank you. Scroll up again. Yes, cone 20 depicts the point of origin. Number 13 depicts charcoal found underground. Number 7, the old stump. There's no explanation in his opinion as to how it gets from point 20. I appreciate that point 20 there has been excavated, but the unexcavated point 20 into combustible material.
Right, Mr. Reid and Mr. Armstrong, I'm definitely going to need a chronology. I think it's indispensable that I be provided with a joint chronology.
Yes.
Not as to everything, but as to all of the key events, including the phone calls, the inspections, the sightings, and so on, because I think it might prove vital to understand the order in which some of these things occurred in particular.
Certainly in our case it's vital, Your Honour. Yes.
Well then it's,
yes.
you should be anxious to provide the same then.
Yes, we have already organised to work on it, to have it worked on tomorrow while we're traipsing around the bush.
Good, thank you.
Apparently in mud, but I'll be very surprised if it's muddy at Fawcett. Extremely surprised. We're not in Victoria. Now, Your Honour, otherwise I rely upon what's been said in the written opening. I don't intend to open on breach. I don't intend to open on negligence and nuisance. They're matters of law, although I might open to this extent by saying that our submission is that Burnie Port remains the authority. I
might just ask Mr. Armstrong, I tried to find the Heritage Authority at lunchtime. There are 4 thrown up on Ostley. They're all practice and procedure points. The most substantial one seems to be the application for the freezing order, but I can't find where this might have been argued.
I'm sorry to hear that, Your Honour. I hadn't looked for heritage myself recently, but there was in fact a judgment given by His Honour Justice Lemire in March 2019, which runs, as I recall, to about 170 pages. Was
that on the freezing order point? Or?
Oh no, Your Honour. This is the judgment from the trial. This is the judgment from the trial. We'll get hold of it, Your Honour.
I can find it if it's on Ostley, but it may not have been.
Well, the reason why I say we'll get hold of it, Your Honour, is because I know that in the past we'd had problems finding it on Ostley. We'd raised it with the court in Western Australia. And
so it might have a slightly different naming protocol.
No, I think the only way that I've ever been able to get it off the internet, Your Honour, is by going to the the judgments page of the Supreme Court of Western Australia website.
Right.
We'll get hold of a copy, Your Honour, and put it up onto the court book.
Yes. I'm sure Mr. Reid would appreciate that.
Well, we've got it, Your Honour. Its medium neutral citation is 2019 Western Australian Supreme Court 94.
And what are the catchwords?
Excuse me for a moment. If I can scroll with this, how do you use this? Right, this is going to be a challenge to me to scroll it, so I'll get my junior to answer the question. Right? Catchwords.
Like an equal challenge to me as well.
So what was the judgment number again, Mr. Reid?
94, Your Honour, of 19.
94,
yeah. The catchwords, Your Honour, I've got now.
Yes.
Negligence, duty of care, breach of duty, causation, etc. Nuisance, enjoyment of land, interference with the damages for nuisance, apportionable damages.
Okay, well done, because there was no such report on Ostley when I looked at it at lunchtime. So whether it's a different naming protocol or whether it's come from another source, I don't know, but we'll find it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't get it up just then, Your Honour.
No.
Say as well, Your Honour, as I mentioned earlier, His Honour Justice Lemire's ruling in relation to the nuisance issue was one of the issues on the appeal, which was heard by the Court of Appeal at the start of March this year.
Yes. All right, so a judgment could be imminent.
Yes, Your Honour.
All right, thanks, Mr. Reid. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
But the only other matter in my written opening is the question of apportionment, Your Honour, which of course remains very live.
Yes, thank you.
Your Honour will have noticed, I'm sorry, there is one other matter. Your Honour will have noticed that I haven't addressed quantum. We're taking steps to attempt to reach an agreement in relation to the quantum of the test plaintiff.
Well, I had expected that might well occur.
And of course, there's no doubt that fire caused harm to the test plaintiff.
Yes.
No doubt about that.
All right, thank you. Now, strictly speaking, there's no reply, Mr.
No.
Armstrong, but is there anything that you'd like to set me straight on?
Not to set Your Honour straight on, but rather to make an application. In the course of Mullen and Friends opening, it's become apparent to us that there is in fact an error in the statement of claim, which I need to correct.
Just
if we
let me
could
find it.
ask the court operator to bring up court book document 1, which is the further it's the further amended statement of claim, which is document 132.
Yeah, I just better get my local file up because I don't want to be writing on the court file unnecessarily. Yeah, so I've got a local copy of the court book,
Yes.
which I'm damaging.
Thank you, Your Honour.
So it's down the bottom, isn't it? It's an added document.
Yes.
Number?
132, Your Honour. Your Honour saw it earlier this morning.
And of course my local copy wouldn't have been updated yet. Okay, thank you.
No, I think Your Honour doesn't, Your Honour's local copy does not yet have document
No,
132.
not yet, but that's an internal matter. Yeah.
Right.
Thank
Right,
you.
thank
It's
you,
not your fault. So just take me to the paragraph.
Paragraph 12, one that my learned friend took Your Honour to. This is the one that Your Honour now sees on the screen.
Yes.
The pleading is that the smouldering burn ignited grass on the surface in the immediate area around the tree stump. Then there's the problem with the particulars, that the point of origin was said to have been identified as an area approximately 2.6 metres south-southeast of the tree stump. As Your Honour has now seen from all of the photos, that is just a straight-out error. It should be north to northeast. And Your Honour has seen that Mr Gilmore, for instance, and Mr Thomas in their reports have been at pains to excavate. Sorry, I should go back a step. Your Honour has seen from the photographs taken by the police and the TFS investigators that they excavated that area to the north of the stump. Mr Gilmore and Mr Thomas were at pains to excavate the same area. We'd ask Your Honour to accept that that's simply
it could never have been a sensible pleading.
No, it doesn't align with the evidence that's been filed, Your Honour, and we need to withdraw those particulars.
Mr Reid?
Yes, it's opposed, Your Honour, and I should immediately address whether or not it's a sensible pleading, but and having done that, what I would ask is that you provide some time to enable me to prepare a proper submission in relation to this. The reason why it could never be, why it is wrong, with great respect to say it could never be a sensible pleading, is this, that this...
But just before you go down that path, it doesn't make any difference to your case, does it? It's equally ridiculous, if you like, from your point of view, if it's south-southeast or north-northeast.
Yes, that is so. Yeah. Yes, that's so. Because but it makes it more ridiculous, Your Honour, this way, and that's the point. See, this paragraph 12 claims that grass on the surface of the ground in the immediate area around the tree stump was ignited, and it said that the point of origin, presumably where the ignition source was, not the combustible material, was over to the south-southeast. And 2.6 metres to the south-southeast, so a very specific point that we have always worked with. Now we're told, well, it's north-northeast. Now, it's to remain at 2.6, well, a learned friend might like to consider that because his own measurements seem to put it at 2.8. So we oppose it, Your Honour.
Yeah. Who settled the statement of claim, Mr Armstrong?
I take responsibility for the statement of claim, Your Honour.
And you assert to me as senior counsel that it was a mistake?
Yes, Your Honour.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
That being so, I withdraw the objection.
Yes, thank you.
Please.
And I'll allow the amendment.
Thank you, Your Honour. Now, Your Honour, the next step that we proposed for Your Honour this afternoon is the video interviews. video recordings of the police interviews, I should say. Now,
estimated time of those?
I beg your pardon?
Estimated duration of those?
Well, that's what I was about to address, Your Honour, because I had contemplated that we would invite Your Honour to look at them in chronological order, which would mean, firstly, the interview of Ms Barrett on the evening of the 5th of January, and then there was a further interview of Ms Barrett at the property on the 7th of January. Now, the hesitation that I have with proposing that this afternoon is that the 5th of January interview runs in total to almost 2 hours. If Your Honour's happy to watch the whole of it, then of course we can proceed that way. There's a couple of alternatives. One is that we could start with the 7 January interview that was done at the property. Another alternative is, of course, Your Honour knows that the transcript of the whole of the 2-hour interview is in the court book. So we're really in Your Honour's hands.
Sorry, what's the duration of the 7th?
The duration of the one on the 7th is only about 15 minutes, Your Honour.
So we've got about 2 hours and 15 minutes
in total
to be watched before Mr Terenius is called.
Yeah, well, Mr Terenius is the subject of another interview.
Oh, I see. I'm not looking at witnesses here. I'm looking at videos. Terenius,
Yes.
Sward and Hawke.
No, sorry, I should be clear, Your Honour. There are interviews with Ms Barrett. There are also some short interviews with Mr Terenius. And then we were proposing to call Mr Terenius as the first of the witnesses as well.
All right. Well, answer me this way then. What's the total duration of all of the videos that you want me to look at before you call your first witness?
If Your Honour were minded to watch them all, they would be about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Well, haven't we got an hour this afternoon?
We do?
And an hour and a half before the first witness is called on Thursday?
Yes, that would be about right.
Because I don't regard it as essential that I view them all before we go on review, Mr Reid.
No.
Well, in that case, chronological order would be more sensible, do you think?
If it please.
Mr Reid?
Yes.
All right, well, let's start and we'll stop when the gong goes at 4.
All right, thank you, Your Honour. Could I ask Ms Law then please to bring up the first of the interviews with Ms Barrett, which was document it's court book document 53. It's VID 001.001.0015. And Your Honour, there are in fact 3 files that form this document that have the Bates number 0015, 0016 and 0017.
All right. Now, and what's the reference in the court book index to the transcripts?
That's document 52, Your Honour.
Document 52.
And without further ado, I'll ask Ms Law to put the volume on so that Your Honour can comfortably hear it, and
Thank
then
you.
we can watch Ms Barrett's interview.
Okay, this is a video recorded interview. It's being conducted at the Sorrel Police Station on Saturday, 5th January 2013. The time is now 8:15 p.m. As you're aware, Melissa, my name is Detective Thompson, and assisting the interview is Detective Peterson, and we're both from the Hobart CID. Now, for the purpose of the interview, can you please state your full name for me?
Yes, it's Melissa Jane Barrett.
Yep, your
And
date
Jane's
of
with
birth.
a J-A-Y-N-E too.
Okay, yep, and your date of birth, Melissa?
31st of the 10th,
and
1970.
how old are you?
I'm 42 years of age.
Okay, and your current address?
242 White Hills Road, Fawcett.
Okay, now, would you prefer me call you Melissa or Mel?
Mel, please.
Mel, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Mel, as you're aware, we're investigating the origin and cause of a fire at Fawcett on Thursday, the 3rd of January 2013.
Yep.
And we're obviously trying to establish what happened.
Yes.
Do you understand why you're here?
Yes,
and what
I
I need
do.
to speak with you about?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Now, before I go any further, I'll caution you that you're not obliged to say or do anything unless you wish to.
Yep.
And anything that you say or do may be recorded or is recorded and may be used as evidence. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay. Now, do you agree, Mel, that earlier around 6 p.m. this evening, being the 5th of January. We attended your address at White Hills Road.
Yes, you did.
And we spoke with you there.
Yes,
And as a result of that, you've agreed to attend the Sorell Police Station.
That's correct.
For us to speak with you further.
Yep. Okay.
Do you understand that you're not under arrest?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Understand that?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
All right, I might just start with a bit of background if we can. So you obviously live at 242
That's
White Hill Road.
correct.
How long have you lived there for?
Going 3 years.
3 years? Okay. Now, who do you live there with?
I live there by myself. I own the property myself. My partner Hamish, he comes and stays so many nights a week. Be a bit irregular.
Okay.
It'll be a bit irregular.
Mhm.
So might be a couple of nights a week or 3 nights a week.
Okay, so you live alone technically? Yep. Hamish
Yes.
comes and stays
That's correct.
2 to 3
Yes.
times a week.
He in October, from December the year before to October this year,
Mhm.
Hamish moved into and was living full time at Fawcett.
Yep.
And then, yes, it was beginning of November he moved out and we had a break and he's
Yep.
just started coming back again.
Okay, all right. And when we're speaking
Right.
about Hamish, what's his surname?
Robinson.
Hamish Robinson?
That's
And
right.
how old's Hamish?
Hamish is, now he's 45 or just turned 46. No, I think he just had a birthday on the 27th of the 12th. So, yeah, of
Yep, so
this
45 or 46.
2012.
Yep.
Yeah, so 40 years.
Yep, okay. And now, does anyone else live with you or stay at the property from time to time?
No one else lives with me, apart from all my animals.
Yep.
But other than that, his children, he's got 2 sons. Mainly one son comes down and either spends a day or might stay overnight.
Yep, okay. And what's his son's name?
Lockie,
Yep.
it's Lachlan Robinson, but he likes to be called Lockie.
And how old's Lockie?
Lockie is 10.
10, okay. Now, did you build the house that's now on the property?
No, I didn't. I purchased that off a Warren, sorry. It was 7 years old when I purchased it.
Okay, so 3 years ago when you bought the property, the house was there?
That's
And
correct.
the house is actually 7 years old?
Yes. It was 7 years old when I bought it.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so it's,
Yep, so
10 years
that's
old.
10 years old
Yep.
now. Yep, no worries. Now, have you got any livestock on the property?
Yes, I've got Doug the horse.
Doug the horse?
He's a racehorse and he's not in horse racing. I'm an ex-racehorse.
Yeah.
And he's about, 6 years.
Okay, and where is he normally located on the property?
He is located in the big paddock.
Yep.
That the front of the house looks over
Okay.
at the front of the property.
Now, we've obviously been there.
Yep.
You have got some areas that are sectioned off by an electric fence, is that correct?
Yes, are you talking about the top part of the, or he's actually
How many
paddock?
sections are there?
Oh, it's one big paddock.
Ah, okay.
We actually blocked him, we put him down the bottom big paddock and it's just one huge big oblong and he wouldn't eat. So I had to bring it up to the house and because he just needed that company. And,
Okay, so it's normally how, if you're at the house
He's
looking at
always-
that,
yeah. Yep, and the paddock allows him to walk up, but it's not sectioned off at all, it's just one big massive paddock, but not
Okay. Now, how many acres is the whole property?
It's 22 acres,
22
which I think it's around nearly 8 hectares.
Yeah, okay. Now, so you've got the horse, have you got any other animals on the property?
Yes, I've got Bess the Kelpie, who's 10 and a half years of age. I've got 2 Rhodesian Ridgebacks, Izzy and Ernie. They are probably 1.5 years old, and I've got 3 cats.
Yeah, okay. Now, what's your employment, if you don't mind?
Yes, I work for the Department of Education.
Okay, and what does that involve? Where are you based?
I'm based at Rokeby High and also at Sorell High. I've got a split caseload of the kids that I work with.
Okay, so what hours are you normally working?
Hours are always from 8, can go through to 7 at night, 10 o'clock at night.
So 8 in the morning till?
Yep.
Yep.
It depending, because some of the job works with disengaged children, so they might need me later on in that night, or parents might need me, so I'm always available.
Okay, right. Now, have you had any holidays given that it's the Christmas New Year period?
Yes, I started my actual holidays, would have been from the 2nd of January, and I go back on the 21st of January.
Yep. Okay. No worries. Now, what does Hamish do for employment?
He works for the government.
Yep.
He is the Lands Department he works for.
Yep, okay. So does that require him, can he work from home or does he?
Yes, sometimes he can. He's mainly out on the road, valuing property and homes and things like that, because it ends up going back during our rates.
All right.
Through the council.
You mentioned you were on holidays. Has he had any recollection?
Yes, he started at Christmas time too.
Yep.
While his boys are on holidays as well. He can probably go
So
back
before Christmas?
just on that. I think he finished on the 24th.
Right up to
Yes,
Christmas,
yes.
24th of December.
That's
And
correct.
he doesn't go back till, say,
I don't think till February. Yeah.
that's a pretty good break. Now, what vehicles, if any, do you have?
I have the Land Rover,
Yep.
Freelander.
Okay, is that registered in your name or
Yes, it
someone else's?
is my name.
Yep, do you know the registration?
Not off the top of my head, but I've got it on my little license.
No, that's okay. If it's registered to you, you should have
Yes,
it.
yes, definitely, yeah.
Yep, so do you have any other vehicles?
No, that's the only
That's
one.
the
I
only
have.
one?
Yes.
Okay, there are a number of vehicles at the property today.
That's correct, yeah.
One of them was yours, I assume, the Land Rover?
No, that was down at the neighbour's place. Hamish had gone down to the neighbour's to get water for the animals and have tea.
So the two vehicles, there was a Terrier?
Yes, that's Hamish's, that little silver thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Another
my
Land
neighbour.
Cruiser, I think.
Yes, the big old Land Cruiser. Yeah, blue one. Well, very dark blue. That's Rick, who lives at 240 White Hills Road. Because when their property was at risk today, they bring their cars up and vice versa.
Yes, yep, okay. Just while we're talking about your property, where is your water supply, if any?
It's right at the back of the house. And my house is only 9 squares.
Yeah.
Okay,
And what is your water supply?
It's 10,000 litres of water, the tank. And we also have the pool out the back, which holds, I think that holds 10,000 or 12,000 litres of water.
Yep, okay. Other than your residence, are there any other outbuildings or structures on your property?
Yes, I've got my colour-bond shed, which is a 3 by 6 metre shed. That surrounding that is a 2 metre fence. I think it's about 900 square metres, that whole area, and that's where mainly the two Rhodesians live. I had to take them inside because the back of it burnt. But yeah, and fixed up a couple of horse back in. But that's the only, unless the trampoline, but that's the only structure on.
Okay. Now, have you got anything background-wise you want to cover before we?
Not at this stage, no.
Okay. Now, obviously, the fire started on Thursday, the 3rd of January.
Yes.
Now,
Can I just say one thing too? I do. Sorry, I do apologise for butting in. I do have that dam down the back of my place at the bottom of my property. But the back of it collapsed a couple of years ago, so you can't. It really has no water in it.
So it's not something that you rely on to.
No. So I just want to let you know.
Yep, no, that's great.
Could the operator pause for a
focusing
moment,
on
please?
Thursday.
Yes.
Your Honour, it just occurs to me, and this is probably a convenient time to raise it. Your Honour's just heard Ms Barrett describe various features of the property. Would it be of assistance at all, and certainly I invite my learned friend to let me know whether he has any objection to this, if I rise from time to time and just pause the video and ask Your Honour to be shown a photo, if that helps Your Honour get his bearings again?
I think I'm fairly comfortable with the descriptions so far and the photographs so far, but I might revisit that after the view tomorrow if I need any further explanation of things that Ms Barrett's referring to in her police interviews.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Just gone, so 2 days ago. Can you tell me what your movements were, say from 9 o'clock that morning?
Yes. Damn hot day. Knew what it was going to be. Didn't want to leave home because of fire risk, of course. The temperatures, etc. I decided whether I was going to, you know, clean inside the house because it was a little bit hot to be outside. Then we're sort of just pottering outside, inside, not doing much. And then I got a call from my farrier. I had rang him a couple of weeks prior to see if he could come up and do the horse's feet. He said he's really flat out and he'd get back to me probably in the new year, in a couple of weeks' time. As I said, it was a couple of days just before Christmas Day that I actually called him. Excuse me. And he then just rang back. You find a lot of people, farriers and vets, they just turn up or ring up and say they're coming, the raw ones. So he rang up and said that he can do Doug's feet. I was a little bit concerned actually because of the heat and all that, and there were high winds, and Doug doesn't like the wind. So but I said, yeah, come on, because his feet needed. Now he was at Sanford when he called me. He did call me the first time, and I actually missed that call because I was outside. And then I thought, oh, bugger it. I'll go outside, and I was actually going to shovel all Doug's poo out of the paddock and then give him a call back because I wanted to get that out before, you know. And the phone rang again, so I ran back inside, and he said that he could, he was at Sanford and he could come over.
Do you remember what time roughly that would have been you received the call?
Now it's a little bit of a blur that on my mobile phone it actually says the time, should say the time that he first called, and which would have been a missed call, and then the second time
was it received call?
Yeah, it was a received call.
All right, just so that you know, we have had a look at your phone. And while we're talking about the phone, what sort of phone is it?
Oh, it's a little Nokia. And I wouldn't say it's the latest version model.
So just for the purpose of the interview, we'll show you.
Little Nokia, and the back's fallen off, so I have to take
happy
that.
That's your phone?
Correct, yes, definitely.
What's your phone number?
0447 309 975.
Okay. Right, so looking at when we've had a look at your phone, you've received a missed call on the 3rd of January at 11:59 a.m. And then you've received a call from that same number at 12:08 p.m.
Right.
So that's
Lovely.
consistent with you saying you've missed a call and you've received a call from him.
And as I did mention to you earlier, which you might want to put, I do have my phone 20 minutes fast.
20 minutes early.
Yeah.
Keep you running on time.
Yes.
Okay, and do you know if the date stamp is correct?
Yes, it is.
Yep, so it does reflect whatever, so
Yes,
date
definitely.
it's saying the 5th of Jan?
Yep.
Yep, okay, no worries. And so what time did he end up coming up to the property?
He was at Sanford and he said, oh, I'm going to leave now, and I know my best friend lives at Sanford, and it normally takes her about 40 to 45 minutes to get here. When I drive to their place, it takes me an hour, so I don't know. I suppose it's a bit of traffic or whatever, but it would have been 45 minutes to an hour at the most to an hour, But because I'm thinking now, and I thought, what if, and I remember I thought, oh, he's a little bit over that time, so, but he would have been within the hour. But
okay.
But I just, sorry.
You've mentioned before that obviously Hamish stays from time to time, and so does Lockie. Where were they on Thursday?
At first I didn't know, because Hamish was, was staying at his place in Sandy Bay.
He hadn't stayed at your place the night before on the Wednesday or anything?
The night before on the Wednesday.
So Wednesday the 2nd it would have been?
Yes, he did. Yep. Oh, hang on. No, sorry, I'm trying to think up when he picked up the kid. No, he didn't. He stayed on a Tuesday night, and he picked Lockie, because he picks Lockie up on a Wednesday
Tuesday
afternoon.
would be New Year's Day.
Yes, yes, thank you,
So he stayed Tuesday night?
Yes.
And then Wednesday he stayed at his place?
He left probably about lunchtime. And went home, and then he goes and picks up Lockie's son from Linda's farm, and then has him till Saturday.
Okay, where does Hamish normally reside when he's not staying with you?
Look, he's just in, as I was saying, the last 3 months, his mum passed away, so he's moved into her unit.
At Linda's farm?
No, in Sandy Bay. I'm not 100%
That's
address. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Lottie's, or Hamish's ex-wife who's a business.
Okay, so on the Thursday morning, the day that we're focusing on,
Yeah.
you woke up, no one had stayed the night before?
No,
it was
not at
just
all,
yourself?
just me.
Was anyone else at the property or the house at any stage,
Um,
other than Jeff?
Other than Jeff, no.
No,
No, just
visitors?
me.
Yep, just yourself.
Yeah, just me.
Okay, yep. So do you know, I know you said 45 minutes to an hour when
Yep.
Jeff turned up. Do you remember what time in particular that he arrived?
I can't be spot on, I can't, no, and I do apologise.
Yep.
I just knew, I looked at the clock and I thought, oh, you're running a bit late, and then I actually went out. I thought I better, because Dave doesn't like men, so I thought I better go out and give him a few carrots and just, make him gentle and kind, so yeah, for when the farrier turned up. So I really didn't, and I was actually out in the paddock when you turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, in the horses paddock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
Okay. So you received a call about 12:08 from Jeff.
Yep.
We're assuming it's more like 12:30 with the time on your
Yes,
phone?
yep.
Yep.
No, sorry, no, it'd be earlier, because I
Sorry,
remember I
yes.
got it
So about
fast, yeah.
10 to 12?
Yes,
Yep. So you reckon he would have arrived around 1?
10 to 1, yeah, 10 to 1, yeah.
1 p.m. Yep. Okay. Now, when Jeff came, talk me through that.
Yep, Jeff came, he pulled right at the front of the house, and I walked over, say hi, and then I said, oh, are you happy to do him in the paddock he's in? He said, oh, no problems at all, and then he said, oh, I know Doug, I've had a beat from him before, so, which I wasn't impressed with, but anyway, he was perfectly fine with him, but because he has been a neglected horse that I've just taken on, he had to do a lot of work on his feet, so he was there for a good half an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when Jeff turned up, was he in vehicle?
Yes, he
What
was.
was he driving?
I can't tell you what the brand of the car is, I just know it was, it's like a four-wheel drive or a ute, but it's got like that sort of, not a canopy, but
A Biltron?
section too, and it looks longer than,
Yeah, what colour?
It's a dark charcoaly, pretty much a dark charcoal.
And was he
I
on
think.
his own when he turned up?
Yes, he was,
Yeah,
yep.
okay.
And he, lifts up the back, he's got all his stuff in the back and everything.
Yep, okay. Now, to do some work on the horse's feet, what did he have to use? Any machinery or?
Nothing that was electric or,
Like a powered by engine?
no, it was a big old-fashioned follow.
Yep.
And he had big clickers. And he had a big, had a round bottom that just had a big stump that came up, and it's what they sit the horses hook onto.
Yeah, so
So,
just a mount for the horses.
Yeah,
to
correct.
sit in. Yep. Okay, so at no stage he used any machinery or
Not at all.
anything activated
No.
by an engine or
No.
petrol?
no, apart from his own car.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, which I assume you turned off when you got there?
Yes, he did, yes.
Yeah.
He actually, once we said, doing the paddock, he actually drove the car up to the
Oh,
paddock then, so
okay.
it was easy to get his stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, how long would he have worked on the horse for?
Would have been a good half an hour.
30 minutes? Yeah. Okay.
And he's a yakko like I am, so took for a while.
Yeah.
And he actually had history on the horse that I didn't know about. He actually knew that, so
Yeah. Is he a smoker?
Yes,
Do you
he is a
know?
smoker.
He is? How do you know that?
he was smoking.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Whereabouts was he smoking?
He was smoking when he turned up. And I thought he was smoking while I was doing Doug's feet like Harry was doing that, but I can't remember 100% whether he put it out by then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So he had a cigarette
yeah.
lit when he turned up?
Yeah, he was already smoking a cigarette.
Okay. Do you know where and if you put the button?
No, I didn't take any notice of that. Yeah.
And you're not sure?
He just kept going back to his cutting and stuff out. And things
And you're
like
not sure when he was working on the horse's feet, whether he had a cigarette in his mouth?
that. No, I thought he did, but I look back now and I don't think he did. But they can talk and do the thing at the same time, but he was getting stuff out of the car. I remember he was talking with it in his mouth as well, so I can't 100% say that he was in the paddock with Doug Yeah, I can't actually visualise it 100%. I thought he did, but I can't say, so there's no point. Yeah.
Now, this might seem like a silly question, but at any time did you see him flip it that way or do anything?
No, to be honest, I was more stressed about the horse.
Yep.
Because straight away he said, oh, it's, Looney Doug, and he said he's booted me before he doesn't like men, and I thought, oh, great. Gulf horse wins, horse never wins, so my main was getting that horse under control.
Yeah, okay. And what about yourself? Are you a smoker?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Yeah. How often would you smoke?
On a day when I'm not working, probably about 7 to 10.
Yeah, 7 to 10
Yeah.
a day. Yeah.
That's if I'm not working. When I'm working, I actually smoke less because I just don't smoke during the day.
Yeah. So that day in particular, before Jeff turned up, had you had any cigarettes?
I was going to have one because I was, and I thought, no, I'll wait for him to come up. And then because I thought later on I'll make myself coffee and have a cigarette then.
Yeah.
Because I was actually about to, and that's when he turned up, and I thought, no. And on hot days, I actually find a bit like dehydrating smoking, as well.
Okay. So when he had a cigarette, did you have one with him?
Not at all,
No. So when he was at the property, you didn't have a cigarette?
No,
okay.
not at all.
Yep, alright. So stayed for about 30 minutes?
Yep.
Did you pay him? What was the transaction?
Yes, I went up to the house, got him, I've given Hamish some money, he bought a wetsuit and I gave him in return for his Christmas present, so I had some money in the of his. So I grabbed that to pay him because he needed to be paid on the spot and I hadn't been down to town. So I went, so I got that and he got in the car and he drove to my stairs, off my front deck there. He had more and then he got out of the car. And I don't know whether he's smoking or not, I just can't. He's talking about something, he fiddled with something in the back. And I actually can't, isn't it awful, I can't remember the conversations exactly what we were having. But then, anyway, he said, I better get going. He's saying he travels everywhere and up to England and that. And then, he's trying to sell me another horse. And then I just said, I'll see you later. So he went, and when he went, I actually walked up my stairs and I waved him off.
Okay, so just when you're talking about your stairs,
my wooden stairs to my front deck of my house that faces the
one
whole
or two
house.
stories?
It's only one story.
One story, but you've got to go upstairs to get into
That's correct.
Yep.
I think there's about 6 stairs.
6 stairs,
Up into a wooden deck.
Yeah.
And then you go to the front door, you go straight into the kitchen.
Yeah, and how many bedrooms is there?
It's only one.
One bedroom. Okay. So you've waved him goodbye, he's gone to head off. You've gone up the stairs and...
I saw, he actually came up my street driveway and he went down my street driveway.
Okay, so is there a particular way you should come up and out of your property?
And depending on what car you've got,
a
lot of people like to take the flatter little road. That's, turn off to, would that be 22 metres or more?
So is it fair to say that you can do a bit of a round robin? You can come up
you can.
to the left and then come back down on the...
That's correct,
okay.
Can
you go around, up and then back down when you left?
No, he went down my steep driveway and then straight out. So when he went down my steep driveway, and I waved him off, I saw the back of his car just starting, I still saw his car but just starting to incline, and then I walked straight inside, so I actually didn't see him go down the rest of the driveway.
Okay, any ideas what time it was that he left?
No, that's still, I can't, I just really didn't take, it's only what I remember from the phone messages and what we've discussed and things like that is what I can sort of, put around. So, and did I mention during that, before the actual barrier came up, Hamish had rang me to ask me if I wanted to go down to the beach.
Okay, I was going to ask you if you knew what he was doing.
Yes, I didn't know to begin with, I didn't, because he'd stayed at his own place in Sandy Bay with his son. And yes, I didn't know what's happening. I just got a call out of the blue to say that they were down at Park Beach surfing and just having a great time, calm down. And and I said, well, that's Harry coming in. Anyway, just wanted to stay home in case there was any fires.
Okay. Now, you mentioned Jeff. What's Jeff's surname?
Ridgely.
Ridgely?
With a W.
Okay. Now, do you agree that you showed him his business card when we were at your house?
Yes, I did.
And I take some details from that? Okay. Did Jeff go anywhere other than the front paddock where you described the horse being, and in front of your place down the driveway?
He got out of the car to the front of my place when he was leaving, as I said. And no, it was only the horse paddock, and front of the house, and then down the drive.
So didn't go down behind the house? No reason to go?
No, not at all. No.
You've obviously got a fair bit of land there. Didn't go anywhere else?
No.
Okay. No worries. Right. So when he left, what did you then do?
I was going to decide. Well, will I go and do the dogs poo in the yard? Because that's just with the heat. I just thought, I don't know whether I want to be inside or outside. I thought I'd get changed, to over clothes to go on to do that. And I thought to myself, oh good, I'll turn the kettle on and make myself a cuppa and have a cigarette. Now that he's gone, and I walked outside, and I don't know, I think I walked outside to just look at Doug's farm or something, and that's when I went to go back inside, and that's when I saw my property on fire.
Okay, all right. So when you went, you waved Jeff goodbye. You've gone inside.
I got inside, and then I turned the kettle on. Put the kettle on, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but I was so hot, and I thought, I don't know what to do. I can't figure, I was undecided that day what I'll do. Will I just stay inside and do the housework? But I just wanted a coffee first before I could help me make that decision. And that's when I just walked back on the deck. And I think actually I might have been back up there looking for my lighter, to then walk back and get the, and that's when I saw the fire. And that's when I went straight back in. So really it was in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes of him leaving. Actually, give it a 15-minute window from him leaving, at the most.
Okay, so you've described seeing him off walking inside with the kettle on, deciding what
even when he just quickly had a little bit of what to do, and then, walked outside. And
did you get changed? You mentioned you were thinking about change.
And I thought, well, I won't. I actually walked into my bedroom and I thought, oh no, baby, I'll have a coffee first and then I'll decide what I'll do.
Okay, so you didn't actually get changed, you thought you'd have a coffee?
No.
Okay, what were you wearing that day?
I was wearing shorts and a tanky.
Shorts and a tanky? What colour shorts were they?
They were, they've been living in those, I think dark brown shorts.
Brown.
They come a bit above the knee.
Above the knee?
Just like.
No certain brand or any logo on them?
No.
And the tanky, when you say tanky?
Just a little, exactly like this.
So skin straps. And
that was it. Black.
Okay. So you're saying there was a 15-minute gap between seeing him off and then coming back out to see the fire. What did you do in that 15 minutes?
That's where I'm getting a little bit, thinking, what did I do? And I think this is where I'm a bit lost with time, so I'm thinking it's anything from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. I can't remember greatly, and I really apologise for that. Because I was just fiddling, but it was I remember it was quite quick, because I couldn't believe, I remember when I saw all the both sides lit, already on fire and that, I thought, I've been here, I'm here, how could I have not seen that? So I reckon it would have been I reckon it would have been 5 minutes, to be honest. Okay, so
definitely. You put the kettle on, what else did you do? Five
well, look for my cigarettes, look for my lighter, and the little ashtray too, because when it's gas rooms now, I don't have those sort of things out on the deck, because everything goes everywhere, so so I just flicked the kettle on. I'd actually put my sugar and my coffee in the mug. And then I was just, so it was very, very quick. Yeah,
You were
so,
looking for your cigarette and your lighter?
yep, and because I always had them in, inside, just straight above in the open little cabinets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just grab the ciggies and then I'm always displacing my little lighter.
So were your cigarettes inside?
Yes.
Yep. And was your lighter there as
Yeah, it
well?
was there as well.
Yep. Okay. You mentioned before that you went out to the deck because you were looking for your cigarette.
I was, and because I went out there, I actually had my cigarette and I was actually, what was I looking for? I was looking for the ashtray and I had a little wooden one and I'd emptied it inside, so yeah, so I went back in to find that to be able to smoke with.
Back in where?
Oh, I went back inside. So, sorry, I'm getting lost. So, what were you saying?
So you said goodbye to Jeff, you
Yep.
went inside, flicked the kettle on, I'll have a cigarette.
I went inside and I turned around to go back out to think, go, and I thought, no, I'll have that coffee. Yep. So I remember flicking on the kettle and I thought, I'll get changed. And I thought, no, I'm going to have my coffee first to decide if I'm staying inside or out. Flipped the kettle on. I remember putting the coffee in the tea. I didn't put the water in. I put the coffee in coffee and my sugar in my coffee cup. And then I think I actually walked out to the deck to look for, I'm pretty sure it was the ashtray, and then I thought, oh no, I've left that inside, and I've got to grab my ciggies, because I'll put my cigarettes and my lighter will be up on the windowsill, will be up in that cabinet, so just take me to
So
look.
when you
It's
went
always
out,
in the kitchen.
when you went out onto the deck
Yep.
with the lighter, did you see anything?
No, I didn't look,
Okay.
because I just looked. I had it right next. I have, no, it was a little ashtray.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always have that. I have it right at the front door,
Mhm.
in that little corner there, so I'm always emptying it, putting a cigarette, emptying it. And then I'll leave things inside pen on windy days and things like
Alright,
that.
so you've eventually gone back outside?
Yeah, so all I did was look to that side. The fire was on that side.
So
I
you
didn't look
indicated
there.
you looked to the left.
That's
fire was
correct.
on your right. Yep.
Went back inside, grabbed my things, waiting for the kettle to boil,
Mhm.
went out on the deck and went to light the cigarette, and that's when I saw everything on fire.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell me what.
That's right, because I remember, because I thought I went out there still thinking, what I'll do, I'm waiting for the kettle, will I stay outside or inside? But I remember I was holding out to have that cigarette, and that, yeah. And that's when I looked to the right and saw both my property on both sides of the little flat sort of driveway
Mhm.
on fire. That was already on fire.
Yeah.
Wasn't a spot
So it
fire.
wasn't like you're watching it start out?
No, it was established
Yeah.
very quickly.
Alright, so just to
yeah.
give us a better idea, from your balcony where
Yeah.
you were standing,
Mm.
how far away in metres was the flame?
It was, how many metres? I will say it wasn't at the stump. It was back
So
from
there's a
the
stump
stump.
on your property?
There is, correct,
Okay,
yeah.
and where
Big
is
old
that?
dead thing.
Where is that situated in reference to your,
It's on the right.
so if you're standing on your balcony,
Yes.
looking down towards your driveway that you come up if you enter
Yep,
the top of your property? Yep, you're saying the stump's to the right?
that's correct,
Driveway.
yeah.
Okay. And how many metres away from the balcony?
Would that be 10 metres?
Yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
yes. Yeah, so about 10 metres
yes,
away.
yeah,
Okay. So you've come out, you've looked down towards that stump?
yeah. No, I haven't looked at the stump. I've looked beyond the stump and I've seen, as I said, that flat driveway.
Mhm.
I've seen a wall of little flames, and they weren't red. They looked more yellowy orange. Yeah, they looked more yellow. They weren't a
Okay.
red flame. It could have been because it was so bright and that everything was really.
So when you
Right.
say a wall of little flames, how far in width were the actual?
Well, because I'm say if I'm looking over the right side, with my right side of the deck, and I'm looking at them,
Mhm.
they were long. So one side of the driveway, it was long, a long flame.
Yep.
So I suppose from that driveway to that big, where I've got trees, well, a lot of thin gum trees. it hadn't, I can't remember if it had got to that, but it would have been a good 5 metres. I think from where the edge of the road is to where it's cleared, and then those other trees that sort of got onto the septic.
So
Yeah, it was all
depth
across
would have been
there.
about 5 metres. And what about in depth? How deep was the fire?
It was, see, it slopes a little bit, and that's its little, so I'd say it was probably 3 metres, and the other side.
So is
I can't say it was actually, I can't say it was 3 metres because it distorted my vision. That little, there's a little, I knew that where you came in, that flat bit, I knew that it wasn't down there, but the second I went inside it was down there. Yeah, if you know what I mean,
so you're saying a wall. Now, there's obviously a driveway that comes up.
Yep.
So was the wall just on one side of the driveway, or
it was on both sides.
Both sides.
Both at the same
And when you
time.
said 5 metres in width, do you mean the whole width of the fire or the separate?
The separate fire.
So each fire was about 5 metres in width.
The other one, because my hill descends and goes on a curve because of that rocky, dry, steep driveway, I could see it 5 metres. I don't know how more down it was because I couldn't see them. Yes.
So if you're looking at your driveway from your deck, from your balcony, the right hand side was 5 metres in width.
Yes.
And the left hand side was possibly more than 5 metres.
Yes.
You can't be sure because it goes down.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yep. And you were sure it wasn't down near the entrance or sort of where your property spills downwards?
No, but it was there in a split. It was there, but not right down to where you first enter. Yeah.
Now, where you first enter, roughly how many metres is that from your house? Just to give someone who hasn't been there a perspective.
Yeah, I've always got to go for my septic tank for where they put that. So we're the driveway. Oh gee, should be 50 metres.
50 metres to the bottom, yep. And so where the actual fire wall was, how far was that in metres from the house, just so we can take that away?
Now, I'm not the best of guesses of metres, but I think it's about 50 metres that length of that driveway. It could actually be even longer.
So from the bottom of the driveway to your house is about 100 metres?
Yep.
Yep, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying, I mean, I've never measured it, so it's not something that, I know how long it is, if you know what I mean. I just assume, if you walk it, it might be 50 metres, it could be more than 50 metres, that's my only, sorry, I do apologise, I just never measured the driveway. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And could you see where the fire had been, if it had been anywhere?
No, because I just saw the flames, and it was coming towards the house, and it was coming towards my rocky steep driveway as well. So it was burning towards me, and it was also burning the other way, so it was burning both ways. And that's, so I don't know how to stick another one, but I would say, say if that driveway was, it just seemed to be, sort of fire just on that right side. It's at that slight little gentle slope, so it's like a sort of a peak area. So I'm just trying to think from the house, if I walked it from the house, I reckon it would have been 20, 30 metres away from the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've mentioned
and it was the same on the other side.
And you said the wall of little flames. How high up from the ground?
Because I pretty much, that was pretty cleared. I just had a spindly little, I think it's wheat coloured grass. It looks like a little wheat, and it's only about that high. And that's how high the flame was.
Right. So it was the height of the actual grass that was burning.
Yeah.
So you're indicating about nearly 30 centimetres?
Yes,
Okay. What did you do? You've obviously seen the fire, you've been standing on the balcony, what did you do then?
Well, knowing dry grass, I was actually in shock because, as I said, I'd only just gone in and I just, got in, come out, and, come out, and it was so quick. So I stood on that deck and I just freaked, and I went blank, I think, to begin with, because where the hell, I'm on fire. And then that's when I thought, sorry, I swore, and I said a lot of words in my head, and out loud, what am I going to do? I'm home alone, gale force winds, temperatures absolutely off the show.
Yep.
My hose would probably reach it, but it's not going to reach the one that was burning on my lower steep driveway.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, I've got to, and now this is where I'm a little bit confused, and I am sorry about this. I think I grabbed the phone, but I didn't ring the fire straight away. I think I just grabbed the water and was just trying to, and then I rang the fireys first. I honestly can't, it was such a, so I was hysterical, and I rang the fireys, I rang them twice the whole time. From the moment it was only would have been about 30 seconds from me standing there dumbfounded, just in shock and thinking, what am I going to do? What can I do? And I've got to get water. I've got to ring the fireys. This is just I don't want to go anywhere, wherever, it's out of control. And I just kept on with the green water container and the little white bucket. That's right at the tap at the front.
So the tap is at the front of the house?
That's correct, yeah.
You described stairs up to the balcony.
Yep.
Where is the tap in relation to the stairs?
Oh, probably 40 centimetres.
Okay, so it's right at the bottom of the
Yes,
stairs.
that's correct, yeah.
Okay, and you have a bucket sitting there?
I've got buckets, I've got my watering
What does
container,
your bucket look like?
hoses. I've got a white bucket.
Yep.
Bit of old daggy white bucket.
Yep.
I think we used to have a sticker on it, so it's pretty,
And
sticker's
the
been put up.
watering container?
And watering container's a green one, and it normally has a little spout which you disattach, and of course I didn't have the spout on. And I knew I had, fires were the first thing, and putting that fire was the first thing, so I was doing both at the same time.
Okay, so do you know if you made the call first, or if you filled the watering can and bucket up and then made a call?
I think, I can't 100% say. Yeah.
Do you think there was much time? Was there minutes?
Oh, there was no. There was minutes, seconds, minutes.
Okay, so it's pretty much one in the same.
Yeah, and I had my phone, so yeah. I was, yeah.
So
I just
what
wanted
number
to.
did you call when you
I
phoned?
rang 000.
000? Okay, and so did you get, who did you speak to? Or
The process was, it was a bit frustrating because you've got to go through a few people, and then finally I got to, spoke to the Tasmanian Fire Police, the Tasmanian Fire Service.
Yeah.
And the woman on the phone, I just screamed out when I was hysterical. I said, please, my property's on fire, please help me. I've got neighbours, And she said, oh, is there a unit there already? And I said, no. And that's when I thought, oh, someone else rang up, or and I said, no, they haven't. I said, but please get here, And I was actually running out of air and collapsing because I was constantly filling those water things up, and I was doing from the top, because it was just coming to the house and coming to Doug's paddock down the bottom, like would have jumped the rocky road. So I spent the time just running my heart out, because luckily it was very low dry grass, so it enabled me to be able to at least try and control it. It didn't stop it, I was controlling it. And then I ran the fireys again. No one came and helped me. I felt so bloody useless, because I couldn't do anything else, and was like wildfire. Yeah,
They just took off.
and the wind, I reckon it was in seconds it's just, so I was constantly running up, filling up water, and I'd sort of got to stop it, when it was still burning towards Doug's paddock in the bottom.
So that left side, if you look at the
gone.
driveway, was still sort of becoming out of control towards Doug's paddock.
It had,
So when you say you were controlling it to a degree, which area were you hitting with water?
I was hitting what was coming along, right on it,
So you described it being sort of like 5 metre widths of 2 sets of fires. So you're saying 10 metres worth you were just trying to keep at bay?
No. Oh, sorry, just the front line. I wasn't going back into the...
Okay, so
I was just keeping that
across,
front line.
as in the width, was
Yeah,
about
sorry,
10
thank
metres
you.
worth of
Yeah,
area that you used constantly.
Yeah, and then it grew bigger and bigger because my steep driveway really curves
So
and angles,
just
so I was
kept
going on a
going.
big triangle coming, so I ended up, I stopped it, I think, a couple of metres from my my old stump that has my 242 rainbow stump.
Yeah, so down in front of the property.
That's correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I can't remember, and this is the honest truth, whether I rang the fireys 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I know I rang them twice,
Yeah.
and I think I might have even rang 3 times, because 20 minutes, it was 20 minutes before they came, and that felt like 3 hours. So, and I was really getting out of breath.
So you described the flames coming up towards the house.
Yep.
How far do you think, from the first point of you seeing the flames, to you getting to it to put water on? How far quickly was it approaching the house?
Oh, it was, creeping like that, yeah.
So would it have covered metres?
Yeah.
Yeah. How far? I mean, when you first saw the fire, it was at point A. At what extreme point did it get the closest to the house? How much distance was there?
I think I put it out. It just come past, because I'd whippersnippered right up to the point where I've got whippersnipped. So I've probably whippersnipped 5 metres out.
From the house?
Yep, from the right side of the house. And I think I stopped it a metre before it came to where I'd finished, where I'd done all that, right down to
So
where
got
I
within
was
about
going.
6 metres of the house?
Yeah.
So what sort of distance are we talking at travel?
Yeah, it'd be about 6, yeah.
So how many metres do you think it came forward?
Oh, it would come a good 2 to 3 metres, yeah, oh definitely. And that one, because I had done that brake line, I think it was about a week prior, I'd gone around the whole house and done all the clearing, out, and I just hadn't got to that little bit, but because it's so sparse, there's no bushes or anything, but I knew, even though it was coming to the house, I knew that was still light, even though it wasn't, spinning because it's still dry grass. I was really panicking about the one running to Dave's paddock, because obviously I couldn't see it when I'm up at the house, so,
And then you described it eventually.
And it would have been that same side too, would have travelled as 2 to 3 metres,
as fast as,
coming up,
so like
that
an
way.
even line just coming out.
Yes, spot on.
Right. Now, you mentioned that it then burned the other way, or at some point.
Oh, as in, sorry.
So it was coming towards your house.
Yes, and it just went that way as well, so, and that's, I rang the, I was focusing on what was in front of me, and that's what I was doing.
Okay, so you then noticed that it's retreated down the hill, I suppose is a fair way of describing.
You're not meaning the which side?
Generally just the slope obviously describing one part of your driveway.
Oh yeah, the flatter part, yeah, it's a slight incline as you go
Head
down.
back down.
Oh yeah, that was all a light.
So
Yeah.
why do you think it stopped? I mean, it didn't get your house, did it?
Oh no.
So
Because
why do you think it stopped? Was it because of the water, or did the wind change?
it was because of the water and because of my maintaining.
Okay.
And at the same time, I had the fires turn up.
Right. How long do you think it took for them to arrive after?
I reckon it was 20, half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just, and I know, they're busy in that, but I just, I was like in tears, and I just said, kept on saying, please hurry up, and that's why I ran back. I was just lost.
Yeah.
Just didn't know what to do. Well, there wasn't much I could, you know, so until they arrived.
Yeah, so when they arrived, what was the status of the fire?
I said to them, they could see the fire that was in both
So were you
sides.
still at the top of the property?
No, I went down the steep driveway because I was just down in that area, still putting that out, and they saw that, and I said, please.
So you effectively were in an area where you basically met them at the bottom of the property?
Yeah. And because what I was doing it in tandem, going between the front and down the line, you know. I mean, I don't know how fast I did it at times, but sometimes I couldn't even breathe because I was just.
How many times do you think you went back to the town?
Oh God. In that 20 minutes, I reckon, you know, lots of times. I did not stop from the time I rang them.
So
I actually couldn't talk to them because I was so exhausted from breathing. I couldn't breathe. Yeah. Oh God, I reckon I went there. Each time it would have been, you know, each container would have been like 10, 20, 30 times. I just kept on going and going and going.
And did you fill the white bucket and the watering can at the same time?
I just do one. I was going to do that, fill them both, but I got panicked because of it coming towards me and Doug's paddock. That I didn't have time to stand there and fill two up at the time.
Yeah, so just one.
Chuck that, fill the other one. Chuck that, because sometimes, you know, the bucket's good, but sometimes you lose too much out of the bucket where the watering can be a bit easy. Well, the green watering can be a bit.
So when you were down the bottom of the property and the fires came in, what did you have in hand at that stage?
I think I had my green one then.
The green watering can?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
I chucked it off the ground and I ran down to them.
Yep. So where did they start focusing?
I told them, I said, you know, the hills and that, and I said, it's all over there. I said, please, because it was smoke, so I couldn't tell where it had gone or anything. Like, there was, my property wasn't smoke, but there was, but I suppose that's what's burning.
So around you, on your property, there was no real smoke, but you could see it sort of off in the distance where the fire obviously.
Yeah, where everything, you know, and I said to them, because of, you know, the neighbours up the road, I said, I don't know who's up there, but please go up and check on them before anything. Yeah, so and they did. And then they came back and said, no, you're right.
And where did you see any of the? I mean, originally you said that the fire was only at the side of the house.
Outside the house and the front side.
Sorry. Did you see it go behind your residence at all?
No, not at all.
No, it was always just from the left.
The fire stayed with us the whole time as it burned around. They wanted it to burn around the back of the house and go all the way along. But the helicopters ended up coming in and putting it out on them, but of course it lit up again and
Okay, so how long before did they get it under control?
They obviously there were then other fire trucks coming in. They hosed down, and then they were worried because of it had actually had where I've got a lot of just thin gums right next to my big septic, which is a huge big area, which is great because it's clearance to the house. The fire, because the wind, it was just all in there, so they stayed, and other units went through and that, and yeah, as I said, then watching it come up to the septic, and then, as I said, they wanted it to burn, so.
Yeah, all right. Now, did you speak with the fire service that attended at all about
Yes,
the fire?
I spoke with Jim from Midway.
At Midway Point?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, well, he was just, he was, you know.
Do you know,
just
is
his-
he saying?
No, I don't know. I just,
Yeah,
got introduced as Jim. He might have said his last name, I didn't
Yeah.
listen at the time.
Yeah, okay.
But obviously he was leading that
Yeah,
people.
of course.
So
Well, it might be a convenient place to stop. It's 4 minutes to 4.
As Your Honour sees on the screen, there, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 parts to this video,
Yes,
and so
yes,
this is
I'm
where we change.
Very
Change
used to
next
that, Mr Armstrong, in criminal trials.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, what's the plan? Is it to meet at a
I was just looking at the,
preordained spot? Or?
I was just looking at the points of view, Your Honour, and if Your Honour has it handy, Your Honour will see that the
Just a sec. Oh, I do have it handy.
even on paper, Your Honour.
Well,
So the first proposed location is the distance from the Arthurs Highway junction to the entry from Whitehill Road into the driveway or track that goes to 242 and 244 Whitehill Road. So if it's convenient to Your Honour, it's probably desirable that everybody meet on the Arthurs Highway where it turns into Delmore Road, Delmore, which is comes in just in Fawcett there. And then the question, Your Honour, is what time would be convenient
Thank
to the
you.
court?
what time, Mr Reid?
I'm happy to meet there at 10 o'clock.
Well, it's
Any
pointless
other time?
trying to go earlier because of the traffic, I imagine, so we
Please.
might as well let the early morning rush,
Yes, well, particularly,
such as it is in Hobart, clear.
I don't know whether Your Honour's been through Midway Point recently, but it's a bomb site.
It's awful, yes, with the roadworks at the junction there.
Yeah.
So I would have thought perhaps if we meet at 10
10 o'clock at the intersection of Arthurs Highway
on
and
Delmore Road, Mr Reid.
Yes, Arthur Highway, Your Honour, yes.
All right.
And Mr Cox suggests perhaps just a little way up Delmore Road so that we don't block the Arthur Highway.
Yes, okay. And what did you want for lunch, Mr Reid?
Well, Your Honour, you may have a nice bit of mother stock to make a decent loaf of bread with.
Yes, okay. Well, I'll see to it. All right, thanks. We'll adjourn until 4 o'clock. I'm sorry, until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at the junction of Arthur Highway and Delmore Road. Thank you.
Please stand, please. This honourable court now stands adjourned.